Hey, how you doing? There's another installment for my daughter. She says she wants to hear my story of how I grew up and what things I did growing up. And so this is sort of like a video diary of what I did growing up. This chapter right now that I want to hear for your story growing up. It says growing up is a section, so I liked as I looked through the window. As I looked through the window, he was down there looking up, my bro, waving. I missed him, he missed me. I was looking down, 6 floors down, and he had a lot of hair. It was all like, gosh, those 70s, all that hair just plopping a big like halo of hair. So he was down there all on curly hair, and he was down there waving to me. He missed me, I missed him. As I looked through the window, my bro was waving. I missed him. As I looked through the window, I was 6 floors up in the hospital room looking down at him. They brought him to see me. I believe it was Mary Immaculate Hospital I was in. And he was there. For some reason, I let him into the hospital back then. I'm not sure. I think I had some sort of illness at that point. It may have been contagious. I don't know. Whatever. As I looked through the window, we rode in the shopping cart to parks, to the rich neighborhood. We would have a supermarket shopping cart, and it was a big road, 16221 86 Road, I believe. 86 Road was the main road, and we would go. It was a big, humongous hill, and we would be in the shopping cart, and I used the shopping cart to extend my legs and my range, and it made it easier for me to get places. And for us, I mean, because he would get tired, he'd get in the shopping cart, I would get tired, and I'd be in the shopping cart. We went to the parks, to the rich neighborhoods everywhere. And as I looked through the window, we would stop at the supermarkets often and still fulfill the trip. Like we were going camping, we were going fishing, so we would steal stuff. We needed snacks, needed food. So it was funny having a crippled kid and a little kid go by the cashiers in the supermarket that we stopped by. And I mean, you knew we had everything under the shirt. I mean, there was candy and everything, so we would just make the mad dash, get in the shopping cart, get to going. As I looked through the window, we would find the boats on the other side of Flushing Meadow Park. It was Flushing Meadow Park, and the park was big. It was either a lake in the middle or a biggest pond ever. But Flushing Meadow Park had a big body of water, and they would tie the boats in the middle of the lake. You know, the directors, whatever, where parks people would go. And so others would go, the ones that could swim would go to the middle of the lake, grab the boats, and bring them on the shore and hide it on the shore, under the thistles and the big grassy marshes or whatever. And so you couldn't see the boat, the rowboats that they'd stole or moved. And we would go find the boats. Now, 2 little kids, 8, possibly 11, 10, go out there in the marshes and finding boats to go fishing and rowboats. We would be out there for hours at a time too, and that was our life. We would go steal food and go to the zoo market. As I looked through the window, we would find the boats in Flushing Meadow Park. As I looked through the windows, others would swim out there, get the boats, and disconnect them, and bring them and hide them on the shore. As I looked through the window, we would get the boats, push them out to the water, and off we went, rowing for the whole day on the lake. And unfortunately, we heard the stories of kids dying, drowning, or whatever. being on the lake unsupervised. But God looked after us. We never drowned. We, I mean, the possibility was there, but gosh, it never happened to us. As I looked through the window, we would go to the park with the groceries and have a marshmallow campfire. As I looked through the windows, one of the other parks, I forget what the name of it was miles again. We would travel like an hour and a half away from the house and so forth. I forgot what the other park was, but we would get the marshmallows and stuff and have a campfire. I mean, gather the leaves, start the fire, have stones around in a circle, branches and twigs we would find, and have a little old. It was a big. I think there was a big park. It wasn't Flushing Meadow Park. It was another park next to it. I think we would go out there and have campfires too. Have little barbecues. We couldn't afford no rented shelters or whatever, but the park was big enough to have all this. As I looked through the window, we would gather the leaves and wood and make fires. As I looked through the window, we would go to rich neighborhoods and steal the bikes and big wheels. They just left them out on the lawn. The closed church would be our water hole. They always left the faucet handle on, the turning knob. So we couldn't afford big wheels and bikes and so forth. Went to the rich neighborhoods who had that stuff out and steal them, and what we bring back, my brothers would sell. We broke into cars, got 8-track radios and cassette radios. You got an 8-track radio, it wasn't so good. No, they wanted us to go steal cassette radios. I mean, that was a big thing. They were moving from 8-track to cassettes. So go steal a cassette radio, whatever. So we did, and give it to the brothers, and they would go ahead and sell them to the cousins, and cousins would pay them, the bikes would get paid, whatever, all that other stuff. As I looked through the window, it was my bud. He was down there. We climbed roofs together. We were small enough to get into Hillcrest High School, play golf, throw darts, use ramps with our skateboards, play stick pull on the tennis courts, and play our version of handball. Handball was a sit-down version. We hit the wall with the handball. We play golf. We had skateboards. One of my favorite hamsters died on the skateboard because I had that bright idea. Putting a hamster on a skateboard and rolling him down the hill. Nice, good idea. Didn't work out so well. Sliced off parts of the body. A stickball was awesome though, but we played tennis too. We had tennis rackets that were stolen. Go out there, and one time if we were small, so the iron bars, it had the big old wrought iron bars, whatever. So we would bend them and get in to it was trespassing in the high school, in Hillcrest High School. So we get in, and it's funny because we couldn't afford the balls, but the tennis people always hit the balls outside over the fence. We would go to the gully and find the tennis balls, and with our tennis racket, we would go play tennis or whatever. But the police was at one time, and the school was target of a lot of graffiti. So they stopped us and said, "Where you guys going?" Two little kids, maybe 8, 10, 11, whatever you call it. "Where you guys going?" "Well, we're going to play golf." So they asked us, "Well, how could you play golf without it? You have a golf ball?" My brother reached in his pocket and pulled out the golf ball. And I had the golf stick. So it was funny because it's like, then they let us trespass. It was funny what two little kids could get away with back then. We went into the school, they were watching the school because of the graffiti, and we just went in and played our golf. There's a little grassy area. and it was big enough so that even if you hit the golf ball, it wouldn't go out. So hard enough, but play golf. I mean, that was funny. Climbed roofs together. We spawned on the Gift Hillcrest High School. Played stickball. Stickball was our favorite. As I looked through the window, there he was. We used a shopping cart to travel, and traveled more than an hour and a half away from the house. We would travel and come back about 6 at night, so we knew 10:30, 11 o'clock, you leave. After you see we would get up, we would watch our morning cartoons, eat cereal. Then we'd go out and come back about 6 o'clock, 6:30 at night. After going literally, hour and a half in the shopping cart to these faraway places. Maybe you should look it up one day. Look up 162 2196 Road and look at Flushing Meadow Park and so forth. As I looked through the window, the shopping cart was my legs. That allowed my crippled body to coast along the way. That was as I looked through the window. That's some of the stuff that you look back on. As I looked through the window, I was either sick or had surgery. I believe it was sickness. I spent the summers and holidays in the hospital most of the time. Whatever, one thing about these doctors is that they always offered you to be normal, quote unquote. So, took every opportunity. That meant oftentimes I would have surgeries during summers, winters. It was 3 meals a day too. I mean, chicken a la quinoa and rice. I had my hamburgers. Could order food. I mean, have regular meals. And then I was getting surgery to be better, whatever. But surgery is just experimentations by these doctors, who just really made things worse. They should have just did physical therapy. But my mom's had the hopes of getting me normal, and I had the hopes so they would ask me if I wanted surgery. Of course, the way you offer it, yeah, you get better. Who wouldn't, as a child, say no? As I looked through the window, they left us, the older ones, school and military in Cali. They did not think back to go help the younger ones. So, disappointed times. The older ones, the older three had each other as a resource. They did. They worked at White Castle, so Sundays we would get these big White Castle dinners. And they were managers, closers, whatever you want to call them. And Edwin went to school. He went to go ahead and go to. He was on American Airlines, whatever, and went to go ahead and he got his career, his airplane mechanic certification, whatever you call it. Then he went off to North Carolina. Angel went to the military, went to North Carolina or Virginia, whatever. And they all made the push down south. Pablo, well, he's another story. He went to Cali with his pre-made family, so ended up me and Johnny just being there for 2 little kids left behind with our mom. So still struggling. I don't remember that they sent money. I don't remember that they sent presents. No, we stayed behind. They established their lifestyles down south, and while we still struggled up north. So their flight was their opportunity. Our flight was the Canadian property. As I looked through the window, we were adventurous. We rode down Suicide Hill on the big wheels. And one time at the end, it broke. So there was this big Suicide Hill. Oh my gosh. And I would be in the big wheel. And one time, we finished the run. And at the end, on next to the store, because my mom would send us for groceries. She wouldn't go get groceries. We would have to go up and down the hill and get groceries on our own. And for her. And she sent us, gave us the food stamps or whatever, and we would go down. The bodega had a book for credit to whatever. They knew us, and then we would go get the groceries that she asked for. One time we went, and it was funny because Suicide Hill, there's a big jump And the big one, you had to jump and pick it up at the front to get on the next. And it was like, and the screw came out of the steering wheel part. It went connected to the major wheel. I didn't know, Johnny didn't know, but when he was on the regular surface level, the screw had popped out. He fell down, he busted his lips. And it was a miracle because had it busted while he was on the hill, could have had a concussion or broken arm. But it busted. So that's God. That's when you see God. Like, dang. He could have been messed up. Thank God he just ended up with a busted lip. I mean, that's a lot. But, we were adventurous. I mean, there was a church with a playground not too far, 2 blocks from the house. And it was a big rocket ship that they had. And I thought I was invincible. I jumped off the rocket ship, had a slide and whatever, and landed and sprung my leg. Johnny had to go get the shopping cart one time to go get me back to the house, and my mom was like, what the hell happened? But she didn't even know. She wasn't, I mean, as a mom of 5 kids, taking care of the other ones, taking care of them, so 2 of them, got away with doing stuff. Whereas the other ones were the main focus. And no, that her sister had kids, so take time to take care of kids, each other's kids. So it's quite an experience, whatever. As you look back, like, wow, what we went through, what we got away with. We went hours from the house to the beach. I jumped off the rocket ship on the playground. Oh, I was a bus driver too, because there was a bus there, and sneak into the buses. We were skinny when we just play bus driver or whatever. As I looked through the window, we were outdoor kids, indestructible. We were outdoor. And back then, the subway had the turnstiles, and there was the exit turnstile where we could just sneak through the bars. It was the wrong thing. And we'd get there, get on the train, go from Queens to Brooklyn to the beach. See our cousins, go to the beach, swim, and go back home. Think about this. We would get on the train, 2 little kids, a crippled kid, go from Queens to Brooklyn, go to the beach, hang out with our cousins who live right by the beach, and then go back home. Wow, that's just some crazy stuff. I can think about it, especially when we went to Flushing Meadow Park. We would traverse a 6-lane highway, a disabled kid and his brother. 6-lane highway with a shopping cart. We would cross the highway with a shopping cart. Cross the 6-lane highway just to get to the lake. Think about when we went to the rich neighborhoods to steal, hour and a half away from the house. Could kids nowadays get away with that? No, I don't think so. We were outdoor kids. As I looked through the window, we even took trains to the beaches and was out there swimming. My mom was no wiser. We were Pipiricho and Cacaricho. I don't even want to go with those names, whatever. I kept in contact with, one of the questions in this book is, did you keep in contact with anybody from childhood? I said, yeah, Kim, my best friend. Kim Anderson from elementary school and UCP, whatever. And, I rode the yellow bus, and no one really wanted to have play dates with disabled kids and so forth. So we didn't have, my kids had overnights and sleepovers and all this other stuff. Some of my older brothers, they had that type of stuff, but as disabled kids, I had it? No, we rode the yellow bus. That was the amount of quality time we spent. My mom didn't have a car. So the yellow bus went major distances. So We were on there for hours. So you talk about your nearest friend is hours away, not you walking up and back and forth to school with your kid, with your friend. No, hours away. So, uh, as I look through the window, I mean, the yellow bus is like Jennings and Leandra and all of my other friends. Like, the parents would get together and confer with each other during parent teaching night, and get to know each other. But that was the extent, because we lived on other sides of the world, basically. So um, I didn't have what these kids had: Chuck E. Cheese and sleepovers and picking up people. No, we didn't have that. No, they had blessings, worries. We had nothing, dude. I never. In other words, I couldn't keep in contact with my school bus because that school bus went far and wide to get us to school. IS 237, whatever, PS 213. So my brothers and sisters, yeah, they walked to school and back and forth. And so they got to know their friends and spend time at their friends, whatever's house. But for a yellow bus rider, no. The special ed schools were way far, and Francis Lewis is like, there was no friends for me because no opportunity because that bus rode everywhere. So I didn't have the friendship ties that everybody else is. We kept our rooms pretty clean. Our allowance. Our allowance is what we stole. We stole stuff for Christmas, stole stuff for everything. Stole motor cars, skateboards, everything. Stole socks, even sometimes sneakers. One time we went into the supermarket and we needed food, and my brother he had his roller skates on that we stole, and he wanted some shoes, so he stole some shoes, and we got caught by stealing some shoes. But anyway, um, you know, that was our life. Our room was clean, but to the room, you wake up, it was frozen like heck. You can see your breath. You see your breath is so cold in the house, cold as it was outside. I mean, it's just crazy. Because they couldn't turn the heat on because it cost too much to heat the house. So, and it would only turn on at certain times. And we would literally hair dryer under the covers thing. That's to keep it warm. Two-tier room, and Edwin had his own room, private room, locked up room, and there was a living room in the front, so we doubled up and so forth. So our room was neat, whatever, but it was cold. Not like over here. If it gets below 65, oh my gosh, so cold. In the house, my kids would say, "Dude, we were frozen in where we lived at." As I looked at the window, God kept us. God looked over us. A crippled kid and his brother, I don't know, like miles away from home. That was only God. We crossed 6-lane highways with shopping carts. That was God. I mean, we heard the tragedies. I mean, yeah, every once in a while a helicopter would go overhead while we were in the rowboat in the middle of the lake. But we heard that routinely that kids had drowned in that lake. Routinely, so we knew that people were dying. But our lifestyle was different. I mean, that's all we had: break into cars and get the cassette radios. If you took 8-track radio, they would hate us, but we would steal the cassette radios because it's switching from cassette from 8-track to cassette back then. Go steal stuff, go food, everything. But we wanted to do everything else. We wanted to go camping. We wanted to go fishing. So we had our fishing line and our loaf of bread. We threw the fish back. but we knew how to do it. We knew how to look for worms, throw it in the lake. We were hours and hours from the house. My mom knew why. I don't. You can't get away with that nowadays. But that was our lifestyle. So as I look through the window, I thank God. Thank God that there was no tragedy. God kept us. And you know, most kids nowadays can't get away with none of that. But that was life through the window. That's the way it was. You know, how was I growing up? That's the way it was. Hope this helps you. Uh, you know, appreciate, be thankful for what you have, and you know, you had support. Whereas it's funny because the brothers left us. So well, thank God. Just that's life through the window. As I look through the window.